I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? Let's get into Monday Night Raw from April the 6th, 2026. This was a very lackluster episode of Raw. The only thing that I enjoyed on this show was the pull apart brawl between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. That closed the show. I still maintain my position that Brock and Oba should main event. Whether it's night 1 or night 2 WrestleMania, I don't care which night, but that should be the main event. It's the match that they have invested the most time and effort in. And that's what I would do if I was main eventing. I mean, if I was booking the show, Oba and Brock would be the main event of basically night 2. You could do Punk Roman, open the show, night 2. But I mean, we know that's not going to happen anyway. But one can only dream, right? But I mean, it's the match that I'm most invested in, if we're being honest. Outside of that, the show was kind of very lackluster. Yes, CM Punk did his infamous pipe bomb. Who really cares? To me, I thought that was a little bit too long. It went about a good close to 15 minutes. I don't like promos like that. I feel that you better cut a decent promo in about 5 to 8 minutes if you have like a lot to say, and kind of condense it. But basically, in my opinion, you should just get to the point. So it is what it is. WrestleMania is next weekend. I'm shocked that Roman Reigns was not there. So you got the go-home show next week to build Punk and Roman. That's it. And it needs to happen. It needs to be a really decent promo battle where Roman basically destroys CM Punk on the mic. Right? But Roman should have been at Raw. Don't know why he was not there. I don't know why. But it is what it is. And Rey Mysterio returned, so that was great. So, great. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So, we kicked the show off with CM Punk. He got a really good reaction. He puts over Houston and everything. CM Punk, he wants to hear about the old-timers, but he can't help but to wonder how they would operate in times like these. CM Punk wonders what Harley Race would do. So Punk said that Roman's not going to be here tonight. He said 2 weeks ago, with help from his cousins, Roman Reigns put CM Punk through a table, and then Punk got his revenge last week in Madison Square Garden. He said that Roman hates him. CM Punk said that Roman hates him, which is good because that means that he's doing it right. He's not going to trade his authenticity for approval. He said being hated by losers is the price that he pays for not being one of them. So the crowd chants OTC. CM Punk tells them to keep on chanting it. Maybe Roman will show up, but he doubts it. So CM Punk says he's going to explain why he hates Roman Reigns. So he takes off his jacket, gets on the announce table. He says that WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. Punk says that that his tools were sharpened through self-belief, years of hard work, and sometimes spite, but always sacrifice. He says Roman's tools are store-bought, hand-delivered, and plastic. He said back in the day he was too young and stupid to understand. Now he's too rich and old to give a damn. Now he understands why TKO sends Roman's beltless ass to Jimmy Fallon. He said it's because that Roman's safe and boring, and he's plastic, and that he's manufactured. But CM Punk is dangerous. He said you never know what he's going to do or say. He can film a dozen TV shows and movies and make it work every single week. Then CM Punk says, when Roman does bother to show up to work, he shows up late, gleefully, leave early, and puff his chest out like Roman's The Rock. At least The Rock is a Hollywood superstar. My bad, was a Hollywood superstar, like Roman was a champion. He said that fairy tale ended a long time ago because this is pro wrestling and not cinema. And then he puts over how Rock's on the board of directors and everything else, and how CM Punk didn't have a dad who gave him a job because he sucked at football. Punk said that, he's earned everything he has. Roman's a bucktooth Nepo baby who ate dog food for a weird old man, mentioning Vince McMahon. He said that weird old man treated him like a dog, but he had FU money and left it with his dignity, talking about his running AEW, basically. He said that, Punk said that he can't be controlled like Roman tries to control his cousins. They can't control him. So we continue on with the promo. CM Punk said that Roman had so many chances and sucked at the first 8. So bad that he should have been blackballed. But he can stand on the bridge and blow it up because he knows how to swim. Then, for whatever reason, Punk, he continued the promo, and he talked about giving Pat McAfee a receipt. And then CM Punk said that he's got a receipt coming from Pat McAfee. He says he wants ticket prices lower because he wants families to come to Las Vegas and see him stand on Roman Reigns' throat at WrestleMania. And that was the promo. To me, this was a little bit too long, a little bit too inside baseball. I get it. Again, the live audience in the building should not know about the ticket prices and all that. Everyone knows that these ticket prices are outrageous. But again, it's been like this since TKO took over. Because why? TKO, they are greedy. They've been like that for years. They're greedy. They exist to make money. And that is it. They don't care about the product, whether it be UFC or WWE. They don't care. All they care about is green. That's all they care about. Right? CM Punk didn't need to mention Pat McAfee in this promo at all. It was dumb to mention that. So it is what it is. But I don't know why he's trying to give a receipt to Pat McAfee, because he's in the biggest match of his career against Roman Reigns. Again, they're positioning the WWE Championship to be second fiddle to the World Heavyweight Championship, right? They're making Raw on Netflix the A show, and SmackDown on USA Network the B show, right? That's what they're doing. That's what they're positioning Raw to be. They're positioning Raw to be the A show, and SmackDown to be the B show, like it used to be back in the day, and even back in 2015, 2016. That's what they're positioning WWE as. Now, he did mention The Rock in this promo and everything else, so that begs the question: does Rock show up at Mania 42? And the answer is he probably will show up, right? Again, this is going to lead to next year's Mania in Saudi. Rock and Roman, the match we should have got at WrestleMania 40, we're now getting it 3 years later. This is where all this is leading to. Right? So, and truth be told, I'm fine with that, right? I'm fine with that. CM Punk has done well, but man, it's all about the bloodline, basically, right? That's what made WWE hot. It really did, especially through the pandemic, and everything. The bloodline put WWE on the map once again, right? So we know that's where this is going. All right, moving on. This leads us into I Show Speed. He bumped into Danhausen. He asked him to reverse the curse Danhausen said he would if he gave him his mansion. So Adam Pearce showed up and asked IShowSpeed what he was doing there. IShowSpeed said that he needs Adam Pearce's help. Adam Pearce told him to go home. So the Vision showed up, Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Logan Paul said that LA Knight, what LA Knight did to him was unforgivable. IShowSpeed said that he's going to leave. Logan Paul said that his only safe space is with them. Austin Theory says the parking lot is not safe. So, you know, there's that. Whatever, who cares about this? Moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night. LA Knight versus Austin Theory. Austin Theory gets the win because the Usos, they showed up towards the end of the match to get involved, to chase IShowSpeed. IShowSpeed got into the ring. LA Knight tried to get his hands on him, and then LA Knight got rolled up by Austin Theory. So we constantly do run-in finishes and roll-ups every single week. We get at least 3 or 4 on Raw per week. So it is what it is. And the crowd, for whatever reason, chanted, "You fucked up in this." I have no idea why, but whatever. Moving on. Well, actually, no. So LA Knight called out IShowSpeed, and he basically suggested a 6-man tag at Mania. And so Adam Pearce came out to make it official. So it's going to be the Vision and IShowSpeed versus the Usos and LA Knight. Okay, who really cares about this? Whatever. Although there should be a lot of eyeballs on IShowSpeed. That's going to happen. So that's fine there. All right, moving on. This leads us into Finn Balor. He's backstage. And then Kofi Kingston, he's arguing with Grayson Waller. So I have no idea why, whatever. Moving on, this leads us into Finn Balor versus JD McDonough. It didn't happen because Dominic Mysterio showed up and attacked Finn Balor from behind. And then JD McDonough beat up Finn Balor. So, you know, there's that. And then Dom hit Finn Balor with his AAA belt. So, who gives a damn? I don't care. Moving on, this leads us into AJ Lee. She had a quick, brief sit-down interview with Michael Cole. So, Becky Lynch showed up. She interrupted. She took a dig at Michael Cole, throwing softball questions at her. She said that he's a terrible play-by-play announcer and is a terrible interviewer. So then Michael Cole leaves after he heard that. So Becky sits down in Michael Cole's chair. She accused AJ Lee of giving her a hug with fake niceness early in her career. Becky said AJ Lee knew she just saw her replacement, and that's why she left the next day. AJ says that she's proud of Becky. Becky told her not to condescend her. AJ Lee said she couldn't have even achieved her heights without what she did first. She said fans never forgot her. AJ Lee said that she knows who she is. She's your favorite wrestler. She told Becky that her daughter, who's her favorite wrestler, is, and she'll say it's her. And then she just says she'll see Becky at Mania. And then Becky throws a brief tantrum. Okay, that's fine, but who really gives a damn about that? At least they're on the show. This will probably be night 1 more than likely. This will probably be like match 3 or 4 on the show. Right? Like, who really cares about this? Again, there's still no stipulation for this match. We can't just have a regular AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch one-on-one match. We don't need that. This is WrestleMania. Like, either give us like a Falls Count Anywhere, or a Steel Cage match, or a Last Woman Standing match, or something. Moving on. This leads us into Bayley versus Last Legend. So Bayley gets the win, which is fine. So, you know, there's that. who really cares? Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair showed up and everybody had a brawl. But moving on from this shit. This leads us into we're getting another Hulk Hogan documentary, which is great. So that's good there. Good stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into Seth Rollins. He's out next. So he's dressed in all black, has a nice trench coat on and everything else, which is great. He wanted the crowd to sing a song, which they do. And he says that he's back. He's going to say it with his full chest. He said that in less than 2 weeks, he's going to go one-on-one with Gunther. Seth said that he's been running through his head while Gunther attacked him. And all he can figure out is that Gunther has entered some sort of agreement, a business relationship with Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins said that he has 2 missions in his head. One is to take back the title he never lost, and the other is to kill the Vision. He said Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are both on the shelf, and things won't go well for Logan Paul and Austin Theory that they're facing the Usos. And he said that he put Brock Lesnar on a silver platter for Oba Femi. And then Seth puts over Oba Femi by saying that man's the future, which is correct. That was great there. So Seth looked into the camera and told Gunther that if he's maintaining a business relationship for Paul Heyman and wants to be a shield for him, then he's made it very personal for him. So Gunther shows up to attack Seth Rollins. Seth counters that. He puts in a sleeper on his own. He goes for a stomp. Gunther gets out of dodge with that, and then Seth Rollins does a suicide dive through the ropes, taking out Gunther. So there's that. And then security came out and separated both guys. So that's fine there, I guess. Moving on from that, this leads us into Paul Heyman. He's backstage with Gunther. He's not sure why Gunther did what he did at Madison Square Garden. Paul Heyman said he owes Gunther a favor, and all that he can say is thank you. Gunther says things are personal for different reasons than what he's thinking of, and then they shook hands and they smiled. So okay, that's fine. Whatever. I'm guessing this is gonna be setting up between Brock and Gunther at SummerSlam. But I was thinking that they were going to do Oba and Brock too at SummerSlam, right? They could do Brock and Gunther another time, really, if we're being honest. But I don't fucking know, honestly. I couldn't tell you guys. But I'd much rather them do Lesnar Femi too versus doing Gunther and Brock. That's just me. Moving on. This leads us into a vignette with Stephanie Vaquer and everything. She speaks in Spanish and everything, saying she's gonna hurt Liv Morgan. Okay, cool stuff there. Moving on. This leads us into a 6-man tag. Javon Evans, Penta, and Dragon Lee, they defeated Los Americanos and Grande Americano. So, Kaiser, Tyler Bate, and Pete Dunne. Alright, whatever. So, post-match, Rey Mysterio shows up. He gets a really good reaction. Rey said that the ladder match, Mania, is missing one more person. He said he talked to Adam Pearce about it earlier, and he said that now that he's going to be in it, and then Penta says, let's make history. So that's good. So great stuff there. Love that. That match should be fun. That should be fun. Can't wait for that. That's another match I'm looking forward to. Just because it's going to be the crash and burn type of deal. That'll probably open night one more than likely. Like I said before, you give the guys a good maybe 25 to 30 minutes just to do crazy spots to each other, that would be good, honestly, in my opinion. All right, moving on from that. Moving on, this leads us into a vignette from Asuka. She speaks in angry Japanese, and then she says that EO's selflessness tore their family apart. Speaking of the Kabuki Warriors. And then Asuka says that EO will always be her senpai, which is basically a high-ranking officer or mentor, basically. So that's fine. All right. Main event of the evening, wrestling-wise, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they defeated Michin and B-Fab. Okay, whatever. Post-match, Michin brings in a kendo stick. And they were about to attack Rhea. So Io Sky showed up to try to make the save, but Jade beat her up along with Michin and B-Fab. All right, that's fine. Whatever. Who really cares? Moving on from that, this leads us into a vignette from Finn Balor. So Finn really didn't say much of anything. He basically implied that the demon is going to show up because we hear the heartbeat in the background. So we know it's going to be Dom versus Demon Balor, which is fine. That's fine. We hadn't seen Demon Balor in probably about a good 4 years. So yeah, since no, my bad. In 3 years. I'm sorry, 3 years. Yeah, because he was the Demon back in 2023 against Roman Reigns. So yeah, so about 3 years ago, which is fine. That's fine. All right, moving on. This leads us into the Judgment Day. They're stressed out over things. Dom says that JD McDonough is going to bring the IC title back to the Judgment Day. And he suggested that they talk to Adam Pearce. So Roxanne Perez shows up, and Liv asks Raquel to let them talk. So Raquel leaves. So Liv told Roxanne that there's an elephant in the room regarding Finn Balor. Liv said that they did what they needed to do. And then Stephanie Vaquer showed up and beat the shit out of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. And then Stephanie then proceeds to throw Liv into a TV screen. So that was hilarious. So good stuff there. All right, moving on. Closing segment of the show. It was Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar, the contract signing with Triple H involved along with Adam Pearce. So Triple H hyped up the match and said that it's the biggest contract signing in years. So basically a massive brawl ensues. So Lesnar went after Oba. Brock and Oba, they brawled and stuff, which was great. So security was able to hold back both guys. Both guys threw chairs at each other, the office chairs at each other, well, which was great. And then Oba shoved Brock through the table. So that's fine there. So security tried their best to separate them, and that was the show. This is fine. This makes perfect sense. I'm glad we didn't get a traditional contract signing here. Why would we? Again, this needs to be the main event of WrestleMania. This has to be. This should be. So, there's that. This was the only good thing on the show. Punk's pipe bomb promo was okay, but it was a little bit too long and a little bit too inside baseball for me, but it is what it is. And then everything else on the show was just mid to basically boring. But it is what it is. Next week is the go-home show. So Raw has to bring it and SmackDown has to bring it, basically. So it is what it is. We'll see. But what did you guys think of Monday Night Raw? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.